human engineer inherits the galaxy's largest warship and freezes the moment he boards. Kieran Hayes wiped his greasy hands on the sleeve of his worn jacket, staring at the small cargo drone on the repair table. Its metal shell was scratched, and its blinking lights flickered weakly. Around him, the space station hummed with activity. Ships docking, engines roaring, merchants shouting, and alien travelers moving with grace, speed, and sometimes awkwardness. Kieran had been working on drones and starship engines for most of his life. Humans were considered useful, adaptable, and curious, but in the galaxy, engineers like Kieran were often overlooked. Aliens designed massive ships, with their long lifespans giving them patience no human could match. But Kieran had a talent. He could see things differently. Where an alien engineer saw obstacles, he saw solutions. Where others saw danger, he saw possibility. As he tightened the final bolts, a sudden holographic ping startled him. He turned, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. A small floating screen appeared, flickering like a candle in the dimly lit repair bay. Kieran Hayes, you have inherited the SS Eternity. The words blinked repeatedly. Kieran frowned. What? He muttered, his voice almost lost under the station's hum. The hologram continued, its light glowing with calm authority. Birthday. The SS Eternity, the galaxy's largest warship. Your benefactor is unknown. Instructions for boarding and ownership follow. Kieran blinked. He had heard of the Eternity. Every alien child knew its legend. It was a warship so massive, so advanced, that it had been both feared and revered across systems. Entire fleets had been sent to study it. Rumors said it could hold cities inside, forests, lakes, and even its own ecosystems. Kieran's mind whirled. A human, and not even a famous scientist, had inherited it? Brace. He stared at the hologram, unsure whether to laugh or faint. His life had been quiet, routine, and full of small, practical problems, like fixing a misaligned fuel pump or recalibrating a drone sensor. And now this? Instructions for boarding? The hologram repeated. Kieran exhaled slowly.
He had no choice but to go. He left the repair bay, moving through the bustling corridors of the space station.
Aliens of all shapes and sizes watched him curiously. He felt their eyes, some puzzled, some skeptical. Sapacity. Humans were rare in this part of the galaxy, and a human engineer inheriting a legendary warship, that was beyond imagination. The docking bay was enormous. Kieran stared at the SS Eternity as it hovered above the station's platform. It was incomprehensible. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting the lights of the station and distant stars. Its size was hard to measure. Even the station's massive docks looked small against it. Kieran's heart raced. The ship seemed alive, or at least aware. Its hull pulsed subtly, like it was breathing. Engineers had long said the ship was semi-sentient. Brad. Few had ever seen inside, and fewer still had survived the journey without being overwhelmed by its size and energy.
He stepped onto the boarding ramp, feeling a strange mixture of excitement and fear.
The moment he crossed the threshold, he paused. The ramp's edge touched the ship, and for a second, he felt nothing. Time seemed to slow. Every sound of the station, every vibration of engines and feet faded into silence. Desk. Kieran's mind froze the moment. Inside, the Eternity was breathtaking. Light flowed along the walls in ribbons, tracing patterns that seemed alive. Panels shimmered like liquid glass, responding to his gaze. He realized the ship could read him, sense him, and perhaps understand him. He walked slowly, each step echoing softly against floors that seemed to absorb sound. The corridors curved and twisted, but there were no corners that felt confusing breaths. Somehow, the ship guided him. Kieran felt a strange warmth, a quiet welcome. The first room he entered was enormous, so big he could not see the walls. It was a hall filled with small forests, crystal-clear lakes, and floating platforms. Birds of unknown species glided gracefully, leaving trails of light behind them. Kieran stopped, holding his breath. This is real, he whispered. A soft vibration traveled through the floor, and a voice, gentle and melodic, filled the space. Welcome, Kieran Hayes. You are recognized as caretaker.
Your presence is noted. Kieran stumbled slightly.
The ship was talking to him. Humans had never controlled something like this before. He felt a surge of both pride and fear. He wandered through the hall, touching the leaves of alien trees, feeling the cool water of the lakes. Everywhere he went, the ship responded subtly. Lights brightened when he looked, pathways opened as he approached, and strange, beautiful creatures appeared from nowhere and moved alongside him. He soon reached the central control chamber. Screens floated in midair displaying stars, planets, and ships. Holographic symbols blinked, some familiar, most alien. Kieran stepped closer, studying them. His human mind, though untrained in alien mathematics, found patterns, inspiration. He realized he could understand more than he expected. Interesting, he murmured. I can work with this. The ship seemed to sense his determination. Panels shimmered brighter, and small maintenance drones buzzed around him, hovering in formation. They were tools, assistants, and companions, all in one. Kieran laughed quietly, a mix of disbelief and joy. I can't believe this. A human, inside the greatest warship in the galaxy. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. Kieran explored rooms filled with libraries, archives, and libraries. Alien writing danced across screens, and he discovered star charts that mapped galaxies no human had ever reached. The ship seemed designed not just for war but for knowledge and creation. He paused before a massive viewport. Stars stretched endlessly, and nebulae glowed in colors he had no names for. Planets spun slowly, and Kieran imagined the civilizations living on them, completely unaware that a human now commanded the greatest warship ever built. A sudden thought struck him. What if I fail? What if I don't understand it? The ship's voice, calm and patient, seemed to answer him. You will adapt. You are human. That is your strength. Kieran frowned, then smiled. Humans were small, short-lived, and fragile compared to most alien species. But humans could adapt, imagine, and create solutions no one else could. They thrived in impossible situations. That was why he had survived in the engineering yards, fixing things others abandoned. And perhaps he realized that was why the ship had chosen him. He walked further into the ship, discovering a room that looked like a human's living space. Familiar, simple, cozy. A bed, a desk, and a small kitchenette. Even the smallest things seemed designed to comfort him, to make him feel at home. It's listening to me, Kieran said softly.
It knows what I need.
He spent hours studying controls, learning how the ship's systems worked. They were complex but intuitive.
Energy flowed through conduits that responded to thought. Machines repaired themselves when damaged. Even the artificial ecosystems seemed aware, adjusting to Kieran's presence. Finally, Kieran paused on a balcony overlooking the main deck. The stars stretched infinitely before him. He inhaled deeply, letting the silence and awe wash over him. He realized the truth. This ship was more than a warship. It was a living library, a guardian, a bridge between civilizations, and he, a human engineer, was now its steward. For the first time in his life, Kieran felt the weight of something truly immense. He understood that this inheritance was not just power, it was responsibility. And humans, with their curiosity, cleverness, and compassion, might just be the ones to wield it wisely. He froze the moment in his mind, letting it stretch. The beauty of the stars, the hum of the ship, the soft chirping of alien birds. It all became a memory he wanted to keep. A human engineer standing at the heart of the galaxy's greatest warship, realizing that wonder, courage, and ingenuity were stronger than fear. And as he stood there, Kieran knew one thing for certain. His life had changed forever. The galaxy would never see humans the same way again.
Kieran woke to the gentle hum of the SS Eternity.
Sunlight from a nearby star filtered through the ship's massive viewport, scattering rainbow-colored reflections across the floor. He stretched, feeling the softness of the bed that seemed almost alive, adjusting itself to his shape. The ship had thought of everything. Even sleep felt different here, peaceful, calm, as if the vessel itself was watching over him. He walked toward the control chamber, his curiosity pulling him faster than caution. Every corridor was a maze of beauty and technology, glowing panels lining the walls, some floating in midair, some embedded in the floor. Holographic symbols danced lazily, waiting for him to interact.
It's
alive, he whispered. Or it feels like it is. The first room he explored that morning was a garden unlike anything he had ever seen. Trees with silver leaves reached toward the ceiling, and streams flowed uphill, defying gravity in a way that didn't feel unnatural. Small creatures, glowing softly, darted between branches, singing tiny songs that resonated in the air. Kieran knelt, touching the bark of a tree. It pulsed slightly under his hand, like it was breathing. Incredible, he murmured. Brass. Even its plants, they respond to me. A small drone hovered nearby, watching him with bright sensors. It seemed to smile, or maybe Kieran imagined it. The ship's voice, calm and melodic, echoed softly. "Welcome, Kieran Hayes. You are recognized. You are trusted." This was a companion. It didn't demand obedience, but it offered knowledge, guidance, and cooperation. He wandered further, entering the ship's library. Endless rows of holographic books floated in midair, their pages glowing with alien scripts and diagrams. Kieran scanned them, reading patterned symbols and numbers. His human mind struggled at first, but slowly he began to see the logic behind them. "Some of this, it's like nothing I've ever imagined," he said. He touched a floating diagram of a star system, and it expanded into a three-dimensional model. Brass, planets rotated, moons spun in orbit, and delicate threads of energy linked them. Kieran reached out, running his fingers through the holographic map, marveling at the precision. "This place," he said to himself, "it's a map of the galaxy."
And it's mine.
He paused, realizing the enormity of what he held. The Eternity wasn't just a warship. It was a living archive of civilizations, technology, and history.
It could build, repair, protect, and even explore. And now, for the first time, a human had the chance to understand it. Kieran spent hours experimenting with small systems, He activated maintenance drones which hovered in precise formations, repairing minor imperfections in the walls and floors. He opened a small energy conduit and watched as the power flowed, illuminating circuits and glowing panels. Every system seemed intuitive, responding to his thoughts and actions. "I can feel it learning from me," he murmured. "And I'm learning from it." Discovered the ship had classrooms, laboratories, and workshops. Alien technology that had baffled scientists for centuries waited for him to explore. He combined simple human engineering methods with the ship's advanced systems, creating devices that seemed to hum with possibility. In one lab, he found a device that could repair ecosystems. He activated it, and a small patch of synthetic soil transformed instantly, growing plants, flowers, and even tiny trees in seconds. A small robotic bird landed on a branch, chirping happily. Kieran laughed, amazed. "I could fix worlds with this," he said softly. "Not destroy, create." He wandered into the observation deck, where the view of the galaxy stretched endlessly. Stars, planets, and nebulae glimmered like jewels scattered on black velvet. Kieran felt small, but not insignificant. Humans were tiny compared to alien lifespans and size, but this ship made him feel powerful in the right way. "I wonder if they know I'm here," he muttered. "The other species—" Watching, waiting, thinking a human could never understand it.
Indeed, he sensed alien attention.
Bird. Through the ship's sensors, he detected vessels at the edge of known space. Most were curious scouts, observing from a distance. None approached, yet. Kieran realized that in their eyes, a human commanding the eternity was unimaginable. He smiled at the challenge. He didn't want war, conflict, or domination. He wanted understanding, exploration, and creation. Humans had survived by cleverness, curiosity, and adaptability. And now, these traits would guide him in the galaxy's greatest vessel. Exploring further, Kieran found a chamber filled with strange floating crystals. Each crystal emitted a soft hum, and when he touched one, images appeared. Alien cities, strange landscapes, and stars he had never seen. Some showed civilizations long gone, Bateau's. Others depicted events still unfolding in real time. "This ship, it remembers everything," he whispered. "It's a library, a guardian, and a teacher."
He experimented cautiously.
Touching the crystals activated simulations. He discovered a system designed for diplomacy, one that could translate alien languages instantly, visualize intentions, and predict outcomes. Kieran realized the warship's true purpose. It was not only built for defense, but for peace, understanding, and guidance. Hours passed like minutes. He explored hidden corridors, secret workshops, and chambers that seemed designed to reflect the human mind. Simple, curious, and creative. The ship responded to his presence, offering hints, guiding his hands, and sometimes challenging him to think differently. At one point, he entered a large circular room. A holographic model of a nearby star system floated in the center. One of the stars flickered dangerously, showing signs of instability. Kieran's heart skipped a beat. If the star went supernova, entire planets could be destroyed. "Can I do anything?" he whispered. The ship responded subtly, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. Panels highlighted energy channels, and drones hovered near the holographic model, waiting for his instructions. Kieran realized he could stabilize the star, not with weapons, not with force, but with careful engineering and clever use of the ship's systems. "This is amazing," he said. "I can help. I can protect. breath. He spent hours analyzing the energy flows, adjusting channels, and fine-tuning the ship's response. Slowly, carefully, the star stabilized. The flicker disappeared, and the planets around it glowed safely in its light. Kieran exhaled, his hands trembling slightly. He had just saved a star system. "A human did this," he whispered. "No one thought it was possible, but we can." As he walked through the corridors afterward, Kieran felt a deep sense of connection. The ship wasn't just a tool. It was a partner, waiting for humans to show what they could do. Its power was immense, but it trusted him to use it wisely. He returned to the gardens where alien birds sang softly and water flowed over glowing stones. He sat on the edge of a small pond, dipping his fingers into the water, ripples spread outward, reflecting the stars above. Kieran smiled. I think I understand now," he said softly. "It's not about controlling it. It's about learning, exploring, and protecting. That's what humans do best." Time passed differently aboard the SS Eternity. Days, nights, or something like them. Kieran no longer noticed. He wandered through halls, experimented with systems, and spoke quietly with the ship. He began to map the corridors in his mind, not with charts but with intuition, feeling the rhythm of the vessel. And yet he knew he had only scratched the surface. Secrets remained, waiting in the depths of the ship, in hidden chambers, and the cores of glowing crystals. The real adventure, he realized, was just beginning. As he stood once more on the observation deck, watching a new system slowly rotate into view, Kieran felt a quiet thrill. A human engineer, alone in the galaxy's greatest warship, exploring wonders no human had ever seen, solving problems no alien could, and learning secrets older than any civilization. "I am ready," he whispered. "Beck, I will learn. And I will protect. And maybe, just maybe, humans can show the galaxy what we are capable of." The ship hummed softly in response, like a quiet, approving nod. Kieran smiled and stepped forward, ready for whatever mysteries the SS Eternity would reveal next. Kieran Hayes had spent weeks exploring the SS Eternity, yet he felt as though he had barely scratched the surface. Every corridor seemed to pulse with quiet intelligence. Every room held wonders he could not yet comprehend. And still, the ship beckoned him deeper. That morning, Kieran awoke in the ship's small but comfortable living quarters. The artificial sunlight of the observation window bathed the room in warm gold. He stretched, feeling the soft hum of the ship beneath him, and decided it was time to venture into the areas he had avoided. The ship's inner cores. Brambers among aliens said that the core of the Eternity held its greatest secret, the heart. Few beings had ever reached it, but Kieran, a human engineer, had no fear. Humans thrived in unknown spaces, solving puzzles others could not.
He smiled at the thought.
The passageways leading to the heart were narrow compared to the vast corridors above, yet they were alive with glowing lines of energy. The walls shimmered in blues, purples, and soft golds, responding to his touch. It was as if the ship itself was guiding him, testing his focus, and rewarding curiosity. Kieran reached a chamber, shaped like a crystal cathedral. Light reflected off hundreds of floating prisms, creating patterns that danced across the walls. In the center floated the heart of the ship, a massive rotating orb of pure energy. It pulsed like a heartbeat, radiating warmth, power, and intelligence. "This is it," Kieran whispered. The heart of the Eternity. As he approached, the ship's melodic voice echoed around him. "Welcome, Kieran Hayes. You are recognized as worthy. The heart awaits your understanding." Kieran studied the orb carefully. It seemed to contain miniature galaxies spinning within it. Tiny stars burning, planets orbiting, all balanced perfectly.
The energy radiating from it was not violent. It was creative, protective,
Patient. It's like a universe inside a universe, he murmured. Raz. And it trusts me.
He reached out, feeling the energy hum against his skin. The heart responded, projecting holographic streams of data around him.
Operations, histories, and technologies flowed past. Some were alien, some were unknown. Frowned, and disparity in mind raced to keep up. He realized the ship had been designed not as a weapon of destruction, but as a protector, a caretaker of life, knowledge, and creation. The legends of its power had been exaggerated because few understood its true purpose. "It doesn't want war," Kieran said softly. "It wants to guide, to help." The heart pulsed brighter, and the holographic streams shifted. Kieran saw a nearby star system flicker. Planets threatened by instability were mapped clearly. The heart was showing him a problem, waiting to be solved. A test, perhaps, or an invitation. "I can do this," he whispered.
Kieran's hands moved over the holographic controls, combining human intuition with the ship's systems.
Briss. Energy streams shifted, gravitational stabilizers activated, and slowly, the star system steadied. The flickering stopped, and the planets glowed safely in the star's light. Briss stepped back, breathing heavily. "A human just stabilized a star system." The ship hummed softly, as if approving. Kieran realized then the full meaning of the inheritance. The SS Eternity had chosen him not because he was the strongest or the smartest, but because he could think differently, adapt quickly, and act wisely. These were human strengths.
Kieran explored further, discovering chambers designed for creation and experimentation. In one, he found alien machinery that could build habitats, generate energy, and even repair damaged ecosystems.
He combined these systems with his own human engineering knowledge, creating new devices that hummed with life. "I can fix worlds with this," without destroying a thing, he said softly.
"I can help." He experimented cautiously at first, repairing small ecosystems aboard the ship.
Trees grew, rivers flowed, and artificial animals moved naturally. The ship responded, enhancing his work, teaching him through gentle adjustments. Kieran smiled. This was learning in the purest form. His next discovery was the communication core. The ship could intercept signals across the galaxy, translate alien languages instantly, and even predict the intentions of other civilizations. Kieran realized he could act as a bridge, a human linking worlds together not as a conqueror but as a connector. "We don't need to fight,"
he whispered.
"We can understand, we can cooperate." He spent days testing these abilities, sending peaceful messages to nearby systems. Alien scouts observed him but approached cautiously. None attacked. Kieran smiled quietly. Humans had a reputation for adaptability and cleverness, and now it was proving true in a new way. The most fascinating discovery came when Kieran found a series of ancient data crystals. They contained records from civilizations long gone, their cultures, knowledge, and histories preserved perfectly. Some of these civilizations had vanished in natural disasters. Some had chosen isolation. Kieran realized the ship had been a guardian for countless eons. "So much knowledge," he murmured. "So many lives remembered. And now it's mine to protect."
Experimented with the data crystals, combining their technology with human methods.
Slowly, he began creating simulations. Small models of planets, ecosystems, and even new civilizations. The ship responded to his experiments, suggesting improvements and sometimes gently correcting errors. Breath. Through these interactions, Kieran began to understand the ship's semi-sentence. It was alive, not in the way humans or aliens were, but in the way ideas, knowledge, and energy could be alive. Responded to intent, curiosity, and creativity. And, in return, it taught him patience, foresight, and precision. Around in desperation. One day, Kieran encountered a holographic map showing a galaxy in turmoil. A star was unstable, its planets at risk. It reminded him of the first star system he had stabilized. He realized that the eternity could act as a guardian across the galaxy, intervening without violence, solving problems others could not. "I can do more than just explore," he said softly. "I can protect and create peace." He began to formulate plans. Using the ship's systems, he could repair ecosystems, stabilize planets, and connect civilizations. Aliens might fear humans, but they could also respect them, if humans acted wisely. Kieran spent long hours in the heart chamber, learning, experimenting, and planning. He discovered that even the smallest human innovations, an idea, a design, a way to think differently, could have massive effects when combined with the ship's technology. "Humans were small, yes, but cleverness amplified by the eternity could influence entire systems." "This is what humans are for," he whispered. "Not domination, but innovation, problem-solving, and care." Word of his presence began to reach nearby systems. Alien observers noted the unusual activity. Star systems stabilized without signs of weapons or battles. Rumors spread of a mysterious human aboard the Eternity, doing incredible things without conflict. Kieran smiled quietly, understanding the power of human ingenuity. He continued to explore deeper chambers. Each held puzzles, tests, and lessons. Some rooms projected simulations of alien planets. Others contained machines that could heal or construct, and some contained holographic recordings of ancient leaders sharing wisdom. Every discovery reinforced Kieran's belief that the ship had chosen humans for their adaptability, creativity, and unique ability to combine curiosity with care. One evening, Kieran returned to the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before him. He thought of the civilizations he had glimpsed, the planets he had stabilized, and the knowledge he had begun to understand. A quiet thrill ran through him. He was part of something much larger than himself, yet human in every way. "I may be small," he whispered, "but I can make a difference. I can learn and I can help the galaxy in ways no one imagined." The ship hummed softly, as if agreeing. Kieran knew that the heart had more to show him, more systems to explore, and more mysteries to solve. But for now, he felt a sense of purpose and wonder he had never known. As he stared into the endless galaxy, Kieran realized that humans had a place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as innovators, creators, and guardians. And aboard the SS Eternity, he would have the chance to prove it. He took a deep breath and whispered, "Let's see what humans can do." And the ship pulsed softly in response, as if preparing to reveal its next secret. Kieran Hayes stood on the observation deck of the SS Eternity, the endless stars stretching before him. Weeks of exploring the ship, experimenting with its systems, and uncovering its secrets had shown him something remarkable. This warship was more than a machine. It was alive, wise, and patient, and it had chosen him, a human, to carry its legacy. He had stabilized stars, healed ecosystems, and explored archives of civilizations long gone. Yet the galaxy still held challenges. Nearby systems were fragile, some on the brink of collapse from natural disasters or unstable stars. Aliens watched from afar, curious, hesitant, unsure if this human could wield the ship wisely. Kieran smiled quietly. He intended to prove them wrong. The day began with him entering the central command chamber, a space of calm light and floating holographic displays. Streams of energy flowed through conduits embedded in the walls, pulsating in harmony with the ship's heartbeat. Kieran felt the power of the eternity around him, a quiet strength that waited for his guidance. "All right," he murmured. "Let's see what humans can do for the galaxy." He activated a nearby star map. One system shimmered brightly, the planets orbiting a star that pulsed with instability. Kieran focused on the controls, combining human intuition with the ship's semi-sentient systems. Channels of energy redirected themselves, streams of gravitational stabilizers aligned, and slowly the star settled into perfect equilibrium. The planets glowed safely, reflecting their star's light. Kieran stepped back, breathing deeply. This was not a warship. This was a guardian. And he was its pilot, its partner, and its protector. He sent a quiet message to nearby civilizations through the ship's communication core. It was simple, peaceful, and profound. A human aboard the Eternity brings only help. We do not conquer. We do not fight. We create, repair, and protect.
Let us work together. Responses came slowly at first. Curious signals, cautious greetings, hesitant approaches. Kieran smiled. Trust took time.
Humans had never been taken seriously by the larger galactic powers, but now, aboard the Eternity, their ingenuity spoke for itself. The next challenge was different. He discovered a planet with a dying ecosystem. Its forests were sparse, rivers barely flowing, and its atmosphere unstable. Kieran activated the ship's environmental repair systems. Machines floated down, repairing soil, restoring rivers, and planting vegetation. Within hours, the planet began to recover. This is amazing," Kieran whispered. "I'm helping life survive, not destroying it." Aliens observed in awe. Ships hovered above the planet, scanning silently. For the first time, they saw a human acting with wisdom, creativity, and care, on a scale no one had imagined. Kieran realized then the true power of humanity. Not physical strength, not advanced weapons, but intelligence, creativity, and a willingness to act responsibly. As he continued, Kieran found a fleet of scout ships approaching the Eternity. Breath. At first, he tensed. He had no desire for conflict. But then he realized they were not hostile. Their leaders communicated cautiously, curious about the human who controlled the galaxy's most legendary warship. "Greetings," Kieran said through the ship's translator systems. "I am Kieran Hayes, a human. This ship is not a weapon of war. It is a guardian, a protector. I invite you to witness its purpose and work together to preserve life across the galaxy." There was a long pause, but then, slowly, alien voices responded. Their words were hesitant but filled with fascination. Kieran guided them through the Eternity, showing them its gardens, its archives, and the heart chamber, where the orb of energy pulsed with calm strength.
"A human did this?" one elder asked, her voice trembling with disbelief.
We never thought it possible. Kieran smiled. Humans are small, yes, but clever. We adapt. We solve problems. And we care. The aliens watched as he demonstrated the ship's abilities, stabilizing a star system, repairing a damaged planet, and restoring ecosystems. Each action was careful, precise, and entirely peaceful. The Eternity's semi-sentient systems responded to his human intuition, amplifying his creativity rather than replacing it. "This is remarkable," one alien said. "We have never seen such wisdom in a human or in any species." Kieran realized that this was the moment humanity would be remembered, not for war, but for ingenuity, creativity, and care.
He guided the visitors through simulations of future scenarios, showing how civilizations could cooperate, avoid conflict, and preserve life.
He even demonstrated techniques for energy generation, transportation, and communication that humans had never shared before. The aliens left with respect and amazement. Bird. Spread across nearby systems of a human aboard the Eternity who could stabilize stars, repair ecosystems, and teach civilizations to cooperate, all without violence. Kieran smiled quietly. Breaths. Humans had finally earned their place in the galaxy.
That evening, Kieran returned to the heart chamber.
The glowing orb pulsed softly, as if acknowledging his progress. He reached out and touched it lightly. Holographic images of civilizations, stars, and galaxies appeared around him. He saw not just the past, but potential futures. Worlds thriving because humans and aliens work together. "We can make a difference," he whispered. "Small humans, with curiosity, creativity, and care." The ship hummed in agreement. Kieran spent hours exploring the heart's memories and simulations, learning, planning, and imagining possibilities. He realized that the Eternity's true gift was not its size or power, but the opportunity to amplify human ingenuity to a scale never seen before. In the following weeks, Kieran traveled across nearby systems, using the ship to help worlds recover. He repaired broken ecosystems, stabilized planets, and connected civilizations that had never communicated before. Each action was careful, thoughtful, and peaceful. Everywhere he went, he froze moments in his mind, quietly admiring the stars, the life he helped save, and the wonder of creation. He understood now that this was humanity's true strength, the ability to learn, adapt, and act wisely.
One night, aboard the observation deck, Kieran looked out at the galaxy.
Stars stretched endlessly, each one a sun for life, hope, and possibility. He felt small in comparison, yet powerful in purpose. Humans were not the strongest species, nor the fastest, but they were uniquely capable of creativity, empathy, and invention. "We don't need to fight to matter," he whispered. "We matter because we can create, solve problems, and protect." The Eternity pulsed softly around him, as if agreeing. Kieran smiled, breath. His journey had started with awe, curiosity, and hesitation, but it had grown into something greater. Humanity now had a voice among the stars, not through conquest, but through ingenuity, care, and the courage to act wisely. Kieran realized that the galaxy was not just full of stars and planets, it was full of possibilities. He could explore new systems, learn from alien civilizations, and preserve knowledge for future generations. And he could do it all as a human, guided by the wisdom of the SS Eternity. He sat quietly, watching the stars reflect across the glass. For the first time, he felt truly at home in the galaxy, a human among countless worlds, holding the greatest warship not as a weapon, but as a protector, a teacher, and a bridge between civilizations. "I will remember this moment forever," he whispered. He stretched out his hand, touching the glass lightly. Stars reflected in his eyes, and for a moment he froze the scene in his mind. Quiet, beautiful, infinite. The galaxy, vast and full of wonder, had accepted humanity, and Kieran Hayes, the human engineer who had inherited the SS Eternity, would make sure that humans never forgot how to use curiosity, creativity, and care to shape the universe for the better. The Eternity hummed softly, a living witness to human ingenuity. And as Kieran stepped back from the viewport, he knew this was only the beginning. A new era had begun. A time when humans could inspire, protect, and explore among the stars, leaving a legacy far greater than any legend. The galaxy was wide, full of mysteries, and alive with possibilities. And a human engineer, small but clever, had found his place at the heart of it all.